What's going on, everybody? KingofDragons 5000 here, coming at you with another figure review. Today we'll be having a look at the NECA Universal Monsters Ultimate Frankenstein Monster. And so here we do have the NECA Frankenstein pose and out of the packaging. Before we take a look at the figure, let's actually run through his accessories really fast. Frankenstein does come with 3 different head sculpts. We do get the neutral expression. We do get the angry yelling expression. Then we get the grunting expression. He also does come with 3 pairs of hands. We do get the relaxed hands. We get the clenching hands. Then we get a pair of hands for holding the flowers. He also does come with 2 different sets of flowers. We do have the individual flower, and then we have the double flower. His final accessory is a pair of shackles which do fit around his wrist really nicely. Other than that, Frankenstein doesn't come with anything else, so let's actually move on to his details. And so here we have a closer look at the NECA Frankenstein, and oh my god, this is a very, very well done figure. Absolutely love the paintwork on Frankenstein here. Now, this is the black and white version. As you guys can tell, I am using a black and white filter just to help accentuate the black and white of this figure, but it still stands as a very well painted figure. Every shadow that you see right here is not only natural lighting, but it's also shading. So NECA has done a fantastic job just sculpting and painting this figure's head. It looks just like Boris Karloff, so they did a fantastic job. Even sculpting this scarring right here on the top of his forehead. We do have the one staple right there at the top of his head. Looks very, very nice. I absolutely do love this figure. Hair sculpt is done very nicely, and they did add a lighter dry brush to it, so it does highlight some of the details. Even here in the black and white filter, you can see those details just pop. Very fantastic. And one thing I love is that they captured that square look of Frankenstein's head. Very well done by NECA. This is the one figure that made me sell my Mezco Frankenstein because I didn't feel that figure was big enough. This one, he's just the right size. Now, there's really not much to say about his clothing options. He really only wears this black jacket, black shirt, black pants, and platform boots. Other than that, really not much. But you can see NECA has gone out of their way to paint some of the highlights on this figure. The highlights are done in a much lighter gray, so you can see they do poke out, and the detailing on it just pops. Very nice. Very well done, especially here on his pockets. You can see even on his sleeves they have the same highlighting. Looking very nice. I love the detail work here on his jacket. It looks like actual fabric, and not just any fabric, really thick fabric that you would expect the monster to be in. Again, we have some more highlights right here on these wrinkles on his pockets right here, done very well. Just overall, the sculpt work on his clothing is phenomenal and looks the part. His wrists are done in a gray plastic, and you can see they added some really nice paint detail on it. There's like a black wash going throughout his hand, which is very well done. Even on the inside, you can see how dirty his hands look. Very good detail by NECA. They absolutely knocked it out of the park on this figure. Even going as far as to painting his nails gray or black, as you can see right here. Not only is that accurate to the movie, that's actually accurate to the actual book, so very nice details there. He does have his one button here, and one thing I do like is that NECA actually did sculpt all 3 buttons. We have the 2 right here that aren't buttoned, and then the one that is. Very nicely done. And then you can see the pants also have that same highlighting that we saw in the jacket. Just look at the amount of detail NECA did. All those highlights look very nice. They are done exceptionally well. Absolutely love the sculpt work on the pants, the seams. Everything about this figure is done very well. Even the quality of plastic, he feels like a very solid figure, and there's no brittleness anywhere, so I do like that. Shoes are done very nicely. As you can see, he is wearing those platform shoes to give Boris Karloff some more height. But yeah, it does do so much for this figure. It looks very good. NECA knocked it out of the park with this Universal Monster, and it makes me very excited to see what they do with the other figures. So with that out of the way, guys, let's actually take a closer look at how he compares to other figures you may have in your collection. Here we have Frankenstein posed next to a Marvel Legends Cyclops and a DC Multiverse Superman. Here we have Frankenstein posed next to a WWE Elite Scale figure and a Mezco 1/12 Collective Popeye the Sailor Man. And finally, here we do have Frankenstein posed next to a Lightning Collection White Ranger and a Star Wars Black Series Mandalorian. So with the comparisons out of the way, let's actually run through Frankenstein's articulation now. The monster can look up about that high, and he can't really look down even though it is a double ball joint. The way his head is sculpted doesn't really afford too much downward movement, but having side to side movement, that is no problem, as well as left and right rotation. Now he does have another ball joint here at the neck, which does let him look up even further. He can look down very nice on that ball joint, looking really good, as well as get some better tilt there. And I do like the fact that his bolts are sculpted onto his neck very nicely. Arms are on ball joints. They do go out to the side to about right there. They go all the way around, no problem. We do have a bicep swivel, or not really a bicep swivel, but an elbow swivel that does hinge to about better than 90 degrees. And like I said, that does afford the swivel right there. We do have a swivel hinge at the wrist. He does have a ball joint here at the upper torso. Now it is a little bit hindered by his jacket right here, so you really don't get too much movement out of that ball joint, but he does have a second ball joint here at the waist. So I do like that, and you can get that to go about that far forward, which is pretty good for the Frankenstein monster. He does kick forward to about right there. No problem. It would go a little bit higher, but his crotch piece is hindering it a little bit. Doesn't go back at all, but does go out very nicely. Really do like that, and you can hear that squeak. I'm going to have to put some lubricant on that, but he does have a knee joint, which does go to about right there. Did I mention he has a thigh swivel? I don't think I did, but yeah, he has a thigh swivel and a knee swivel, so if you don't want to use the thigh swivel, you can use that swivel. Finally, we do have a hinge in the ankle going back and somewhat forward, and then forward facing pin for rocker ankle. So overall, really good articulation here for Frankenstein's monster. He's not going to be doing any gymnastics, but you don't need him to, because that's not what he does. So with that out of the way, guys, let's actually get Frankenstein's monster posed for my final thoughts, and then we'll wrap up this review. And so here we have the NECA Universal Monsters Ultimate Frankenstein Monster pose for my final thoughts. And overall, NECA has exceeded my expectations with this figure. This is a very well done figure. I'm actually surprised I didn't pick him up earlier. I think because I had other things in mind that I wanted to pick up, but I do kind of regret not getting this figure early on, because this is actually a very well done figure, and this makes me so excited for the other Universal monsters that NECA has coming. I'm really excited for the Mummy, Wolfman, and Dracula. Hopefully we'll get some more creatures from the Black Lagoon, who knows. But as far as Frankenstein goes, this is a very nice figure, and I am really happy to have this in my collection. Like I said, I did sell my Mezco Frankenstein when I saw that this was announced, mainly because that Frankenstein monster was a little bit too small for my liking. This one right here, I think, fits for what I want it to be. And when I think of the Frankenstein monster, I think of this big, hulking, lumbering creature, and this does exactly what I need. I think the head options on him are perfect, as well as the hand options, although I think some choking hands would have also been nice, but you can kind of get it with the clinching hands, which I'm perfectly okay with. Overall, this is a very fantastic figure to own. Now, NECA did make two versions of this figure. We do have the black and white version, which we are having a look at right now, and there is a colored version, which I'm honestly wanting to track down now, because this is such a nice figure. I kind of want to have it twice in my collection. Want to have the colored versions and the black and white versions. Those would look so nice together. But Frankenstein here is a very good figure, and if you're a fan of the Universal monsters, this is a must-have for any collector, and I do really recommend you pick up your very own Frankenstein monster. If you're a fan of classic horror movies, classic cinema, you're going to want to have this guy in your collection. He is going to run you about $35, $38 depending on where you pick him up. I picked mine up from Big Bad Toy Store. He was in my pile of loot for a really long time, and I finally got around to shipping it, so that's why we do have him now. But yeah, not disappointed one bit. This is an exceptionally well done figure, and one thing I really do have to point out is that the quality of plastic on this figure feels very different from what we've gotten from NECA in the past. This feels very durable, so if you're worried about breakage, this figure will not break unless you are trying to break it. And if there are any stuck joints, just use some hot water or a hair dryer and it'll loosen those joints right up. So with that being said, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Go check out all my other NECA and horror videos. Hopefully you find them informative. As always, if there's a figure you would like to see me review, let me know down in the comments. And if it fits in my collection, I'll gladly have a look at it. While we're at it, check out my Instagram account for new and exciting action figure photos. And as always, ring that bell to be notified every time I upload a video. Until next time, guys, I'll see you later. Take care, everyone.